Categorically, the problem with booktube are wrap-up videos. Okay, it's a little bit of clickbait, but I do have my gripes. Now, I predominantly do single book reviews, but ever since I began, everyone has told me in order to make money, in order to get anywhere within booktube, you have to do wrap-ups over individual book reviews. Now, before you diddly dunkers and start jibber-jabbering away, please know I'm not great at this. I turn the camera on, I spiel, and then I edit very briefly. I do, categorically, the minimal amount of effort. Now, I have no qualms in saying that I read a fair amount. I read more than the average person. But even I am beginning to become baffled by the influx of people who can read 20+ books a month, every month. Now, some of this I'm going to coin, let's come up with something, wormwashing, which is they have read 20 books, but actually they didn't really start like 15 of them. They were kind of just like abandoned by the wayside, but nevertheless their stats stack up. That's a whole different conversation. Wormwashing. Yeah, I'm going to coin it. But with someone as a full-time job, based on what people are reading and what they're saying they're reading, incomplete 20 books a month. Like, I am struggling to comprehend this, like, entirely. And this isn't a new or novel view from me. I've said this since the beginning. I find it baffling. Now, I'm speculating here. There has to be some form of overwhelming nature from someone who doesn't read a lot, thinking, how on earth are you having the time to read this amount, and therefore set the expectation or the norm that if you are to read, you have to read a unfathomable amount. But while mountainous piles of paper might be read and that might be true and it might be authentic, what more so frustrates me is not the discussion of the books. I don't think you can do that within a 20-minute wrap-up of 20 books. It is more so the pitching of these books, which are ultimately vague regurgitations of blurbs. To clarify, I'm not saying that people who do individual book reviews are better, or they're more in-depth, or they're more useful to people. In fact, sometimes it works in the opposite way. Yet I truly believe if I picked up 20 books off my shelves and did a wrap-up video, I could spiel, I could pass out vague banalities, saying very positive things, gleaming information off the blurb, and pass it off, and people would believe it. Now, my gripe here is applicable to TikTok with BookTok as it is BookTube, and that is there is a mentality of quantity over quality. And I would like to proffer this viewpoint because you need the quantity over the quality and you need people to click on the videos. What you have ultimately, and I've been in these conversations with people, is the race for brand new releases. The escapade for advanced reader copies that no one has got just to do a non-spoiler review or a non-spoiler discussion, which are vague banalities. And if you don't believe me, we saw it with Sally Rooney, Beautiful World, Where Are You, or wherever that mid-book was called. With this plague of wrap-ups, I'm just experiencing distortion. A distortion not only in the prevalence of these wrap-ups, where it seems that anyone can read 20+ books a month with ease, but also this ongoing and vehement distortion about books, where we're not really talking about the book, we just want to talk about the book. And it perplexes me seeing bookish creators all talking about the same book, but still bringing up the same banal points. There's meant to be a conversation with literature, but everyone's reading off the same script. Don't get it twisted, I'm not here begging for in-depth analysis, because I don't do that. It's not something that I want. I want to see individuals talking about the books that they've read. I don't want surface level banalities that ultimately feel superficial. Personally, I feel as though if the reader could infer this information from a blurb, I just don't talk about it. But I understand why creators do it. They have to match the speed, they have to match the breadth of coverage that has somehow been established as the norm. But I promise you, most normal people can't do this. Well, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. Tatty bye.